Nam- Namaste. Good morning. I am Professor Sheshamaheshwarama from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Anantapur College of Engineering, Pulivendula, Andhra Pradesh. Good morning. Namaste. A very warm welcome to all of our academicians, policymakers, students, and social service partners to the 10th International Conference on Human Values in Higher Education, being held from 19th to 21st December 2025, on the theme Empowering Youth Through Value-Driven Education. This conference brings us together around a shared vision of empowering youth through value-driven education for a happy and peaceful world. On day one, on behalf of the SDG panel, we begin by understanding the realities of today's youth. Through a SWOT perspective, we will reflect on their strengths, challenges, opportunities, and the risks they face in today's rapidly changing world. This session is about honest understanding, not judgment. The insights we gain today will lay the foundation for the discussions that follow. To guide us through this important conversation, I now invite our moderator to take the session forward. Once again, a warm welcome to all. I'm very delighted to introduce the moderator for today's session. Mr. Hamresh Hote is a former director at KPMG India, experience in people and leadership development, transformation, and change management, environmentally sustainable development. He is actively associated with the UHV initiatives and they contribute as a UHV team member for the Southwestern region. With this welcoming, I'm welcoming to Sri Hamresh Hote to moderate the session. Once again, warm welcome to all.
Thank you, Dr. Sesha Maheshwarama, for the introduction and kind words. Namaste and a very warm welcome to everyone joined the session today. Before we begin the discussion, let me set a brief context for today's discussion on SWOT analysis of youth to address SDGs viewed through the lens of universal human values. Youth today, as you are aware, constitute the largest generation in human history. They bring with them the energy, the creativity, and the deep concern for the future of the planet. However, sustainability is not only a technological or economical challenge, it is fundamentally a human challenge rooted in our values, intentions, and understanding. Through a SWOT framework, we will explore and discuss on various aspects of youth participation to address sustainable development goals. Let's use this discussion to reflect deeply, engage honestly, and identify pathways where youth, guided by universal human values, can address SDGs at its root. With this perspective, I would like to welcome and introduce our esteemed panelists for today's discussion. Let me start with welcoming Gautami Bor. She is joining us from New Zealand. She is a sustainability consultant at Proxima Consulting and a co-founder of Planet Pact, a climate change research professional and advocate for individual behavior change. She works extensively on materiality and impact assessments, GHG accounting, sustainability reporting frameworks and standards, as well as sustainability strategy and capability building workshops. She has completed her master's thesis titled Youth Living in Auckland, Climate Change Mitigation Efforts and the Factors Affecting Their Actions, which examines youth perception and contributes towards identifying solutions for the future. Welcome, Gautami.
Thank you so much.
Moving on, I would like to introduce our next panelist, Mridula Singh. She is a strategic planning leader driving digital initiatives, community engagement, and value-based education rooted in Sanatana Dharma, with a focus on making ancient knowledge relevant for present and future generations. She is founder of the Happier and Safer Internet Project for cyber safety, member of multiple expert and advisory committees, including UNESCO's Global Media and Information Literacy Alliance expert member and 100 ambassador and academy member, etc. She has many global recognition as a digital leader. Now, it's my privilege to would like to welcome Mridula Singh. You're welcome. I would like to introduce now our esteemed guest and panelist from Singapore, Srinivasa Prasad. Srinivasa Prasad is the founder and CEO of EduClo, a unified digital governance platform transforming education at scale. With over a decade of experience in higher education, digital innovation, and ecosystem design, he has worked closely with universities, governments, and industry bodies. A strong advocate of universal human values, he champions the belief and technology must evaluate compassion, dignity, and shared human progress. He has been a panel speaker in several national and international conferences on national education policy, technology, and entrepreneurship. Welcome, Srinivas.
Thank you, Sri Amrish ji. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on, I would like to now introduce Dr. Rupali Shekhawat. She is currently working as an assistant professor at Symbiosis International and brings over 7 years of industry experience as a company secretary. Having handled legal and secretarial function for corporates, driven by a strong passion for mentoring and research, she transitioned into an academia and now has 5 years of academic and research experience. She has several publications, including Scopus Index papers, with her primary research focus on social security and income security. Welcome, Dr. Rupali.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on to our next panelist, I would like to now invite and introduce Dr. Jasmeer Randhawa. Dr. Jasmeer Randhawa has been a faculty member in the Department of Physics at Government College of Engineering, Nagpur since 2003. She has been actively associated with universal human values activities in the Vidarbha region for the past 3 years, contributing significantly to their outreach and implementation. Welcome, Dr. Jasmeer Randhawa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Namaste. Namaste to all.
Now, I would like to introduce our next panelist, Dr. Yashwant Patil. Dr. Yashwant Patil is currently a professor at Shivaji Rao Jondle College of Engineering and Technology, Maharashtra, and serves as a member of the Board of Studies in Civil Engineering at the University of Mumbai. He has been actively involved in universal human values initiatives for the past 5 years, serving as a regional coordinator for the Western region. Welcome, Dr. Yashwant Patil.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Amreshji, and good morning all.
You're welcome. I would like to introduce our next panelist, Dr. Vanchana Singh. Dr. Vanchana Singh, PhD from IIT Delhi in physics with an academic experience of 20 years. She is currently associated with UHV for the last 8 years. She is member of National Coordination Committee, AICTE, and she is actively involved in UHV activities nationwide. Welcome, Dr. Vanchana.
जी नमस्ते एवरीवन वीसी सर has also joined over here from Srinivas University भैया जी नमस्ते एवरीवन
नमस्ते नमस्ते मैम
Welcome, Professor K. Satyanarayan Reddy garu.
नमस्ते नमस्ते
Okay. Now, let me introduce our next panelist, Rachana Shinde. She is an information technology student currently pursuing her BTech at Sanjeevani College of Engineering, Kupagaon. She is deeply passionate about the Sustainable Development Goals and has a strong interest in exploring universal human values and ethics. Welcome, Rachana. Maybe she will be joining late. So let's move on to our next panelist. I would like to now introduce Madhura Kulkarni. She is currently associated with GH Raisoni Skill Tech University as an assistant professor and brings around 7 years of combined experience in academia and industry. She has been actively associated with Universal Human Values Initiative since 2022. Welcome, Madhura.
Yes, thank you, sir. Namaste to all.
Okay. Let me introduce our next panelist, Srishti Garg. She is a second-year BTech student at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College and proud member of the college Value Education Cell. Her journey with universal human values has been instrumental in nurturing right understanding and helping her recognize her natural acceptance. By applying UHV concepts in her academic and personal life, Srishti is developing as an engineer with a sustainable mindset and a deeper sense of responsibility towards society. Welcome, Srishti. I saw her joined as a participant. Probably we may have to move her as a panelist later. Okay. I think. Just a minute. Okay, let me now introduce our another panelist, Dr. Geeta Putaraju. Dr. Geeta holds a PhD in business management from Osmania University, Hyderabad, and she currently heads a Center for Governance and Public Policy at Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad. She brings over 20 years of experience in developing consulting. Dr. Geeta has contributed to numerous high-impact projects with national and international agencies, including the Government of India, state governments, and participatory governance and accountability tools. Currently, she is actively engaged as a universal human values volunteer for the South Central region. Welcome, Dr. Geeta. I think with this, we have now introduced our panelist. Let's see if someone joins in, we can come back. I don't have sir's details. Vanchana ji, anybody would be able to just briefly share about?
Actually, sir joined the youth
no
panel. Youth panel.
I have joined wrong one.
Yes, you are part of academic panel, but it's okay, sir. Your valuable insights will definitely help the youth here today. So
Okay,
since you
okay,
have
okay,
joined
okay.
here, we are delighted to have your presence over here. Sir
In
is-
introduction, this thing 19, slide 19 was my this thing.
Ji, ji, ji,
Uh,
ji.
I
So,
have put my brief, this thing in 19, slide 19.
ji, ji. Very nice, sir. Most welcome. Sir is one of the senior most member amongst us, and it is just such a big honor. Ji,
Not-
Amresh Bhaiya. Ji. Go ahead, Bhaiya.
Okay. So I think with this introductions, let's move on with our next session program. Panelist Dr. Vanchana Singh to present the UHV point of view for today's discussion.
Ji.
Over to you, Dr. Vanchana.
Ji. Thank you, Amresh ji, and it gives me immense pleasure to be over here in this August gathering. This is the youth panel, but we see a wide variety of panelists amongst us with great experience and expertise. Even VC sir shifted from academic panel to youth panel. So we are so happy to see you here, sir. And let me put forth the UHV point of view. And today's focus is SWOT analysis of today's youth to address SDGs, especially in context of sustainability. So are we really having youth ready for SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, these 17 goals, which are being put forth by UN from 2015 onwards with an aim to accomplish them by 2030. So now we are looking at it in context of the current youth with such a diverse panel over here with distinguished people. We are quite hopeful that through this UHV point of view, we are going to get a direct sense of how to address it at the root. So let's look at this buzzword sustainability, which we keep hearing here and there. Let's check the root of sustainability. If we look at this entire nature, starting from material order, plant order, animal order, human order, let's see what are we observing. Everything other than the human being is already in a self-sustainable mode. If we just look at the physical order, the soil, the metals, right, everything, they are interacting in such a way with every other order, be it the bio order, the animal order. They are ensuring a self-sustainable process within themselves. If you look at the bio order is mutually self-sustaining and complementing to everyone. If you look at the animal order is also ensuring that complementariness. Now, the big question is, are we as a human being complementing? Who needs to ensure sustainability? In fact, in this August gathering of so many panel members along with so many attendees, you can use the chat also to put your responses so that we can have this interaction amongst us. So let's check out, as a human being, are we really ensuring sustainability? Who needs to understand sustainability? Is it the plant order? Is it the animal order? Or is it actually we who assume ourselves to be knowing so much, yet end up being so unfulfilling? That is what we are trying to look forward to. So the question that is very important is, who is the one who is living unsustainably in this entire nature? Who is the one who wants sustainability in nature? And what is it that we want to be sustainable? Sustainability of what? Do you find these questions relevant? Do you find these questions important? Something that we all need to ponder upon, something that we all need to reflect on. So if you look at the current scenario, what do you find? Who is living unsustainably in this entire nature? What is your take on this? Let's seek some responses from some of our attendees over here through the chat. Would you be able to put your responses in the chat? Can we see some responses? Gee, nice. Nice that we all are able to see that it's the human being which is living unsustainably in this entire nature. We all can observe this very clearly. We see our own role and responsibility. We keep talking about sustainability. It is important for us to ensure this sustainability, right? Now, what do we want to ensure sustainability? Sustainability of what? Sustainability of our own aspiration, our happiness, our prosperity. Let's check. Do we want to be happy or prosperous or not? Right? So we want sustainability of our own happiness, prosperity, which is our basic aspiration. We need to understand it. So the fundamental question is how to ensure this continuity of happiness and prosperity. Because this happiness and prosperity is something which I am looking for. I want its sustainability. As a human order, I want to live with sustainability means I want to ensure continuity of my own happiness and prosperity. Are you able to see this? Now, once we are able to see this, we'll start reflecting on that. Are we really understanding the real meaning of happiness? Are we really understanding the real meaning of prosperity? What is it that is needed as a preparation so that each one of us can live a sustainable living? Can we see these fundamental questions important for each one of us? What is your take on this? In order to lead a sustainable life, we all need to ensure living with human consciousness. Human consciousness means when I live in this bigger circle where my focus is not just merely on accumulating physical facility. My time and effort should be distributed in such a way that I live with the correct priority order, where right understanding holds priority number 1, relationships holding priority number 2, and physical facility, which is very much needed, is also part of it, holding priority 3. Through the process of education, when I understand harmony at each and every level of my being, my complete expanse of living, when I look at my own living, I live as an individual, I live as a member of family, I live as a member of this society, and I live as a member of this entire nature and existence. So what I need to understand is harmony at each and every level of my being, right understanding, and then executing it in my living, which means at each and every level of my living, when I ensure living with harmony, I as an outcome is able to ensure continuity of my happiness and prosperity because I work for mutual happiness and mutual prosperity. So the basic requirement to live a sustainable life is to live in this bigger circle where my time and effort is uniformly distributed to all the 3: right understanding in the self, relationship, and physical facility, ignoring nothing, including everything. Can you see the right program for ourselves? That is what we are trying to check. Are we preparing our youngsters to look at the right program where they can ensure living with the correct priority order? So, with this, let us try to reflect on the SWOT analysis of today's youth to address SDG. How can their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats be looked more carefully so that in context of sustainability and SDGs, they can prepare themselves. They can make themselves ready to address each and every one of these sustainable goals with a holistic approach. So moving ahead, let's try to focus on the strengths of the current youth. The youth are the torch bearers. The moment we hear this word youth, we are filled with enthusiasm, energy. So the strength is their own energy, their creativity, their adaptability, openness to new ideas, zeal to work tirelessly. All these hold the key for bringing a change, an openness to change, detached from preconditionings, adaptable to value-driven lifestyles much more readily than anybody of a higher age. Another great strength in the current scenario is their high digital fluency. This high digital literacy and their extreme skill set with respect to technology is enabling them to use big data, digital program platforms to ensure sustainable solutions. With their zeal and enthusiasm drawn to justice, fairness, equality, they are more aligned to work for sustainability and they can show global solidarity. So, with this strength set, they can become the potential for transformation when rightly guided. With this, let's try to focus on some of the weaknesses, something which is pushing them backwards. With lots and lots of strengths, without a clear direction, they might not be able to overcome their weaknesses. Without grounding in UHV, this youth risks become part of some contradictions which they might not be able to resolve on their own. So what we see is a lot of directionlessness in the current scenario. If we look at our own country, India, right? The youth power is immense. We are currently at a level where the number of youth is exceeding to any other country for that matter, which means we are a source of immense energy. But a lack of holistic wisdom, where our youth is just running to get the best of the package at any cost, compromising anything for that. With lots and lots of misconceptions within them, with that lack of clarity, they lead a very disillusioned life. There is no clarity on understanding the real meaning of happiness and prosperity. So despite earning best of the packages, they end up with lots and lots of dissatisfactions. And we keep hearing so many news pieces every day, here and there. There's a lot of value erosion. With lots and lots of materialistic and consumption-driven lifestyles, there's a risk of alienating the youth from the sustainable living. If we go back to some 20, 30 years, our ways of living were far more sustainable. But the current youth is unable to connect to it without finding the right reason. They find those things useless and meaningless and are very eager to drop all those which were earlier part of our own family structures. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of issue associated with mental health and social fragmentation. In this era where everybody is a technocrat, busy engaged with gadgets, there's very less of human interaction and time for relationships. Without that relationship connect, one is not able to work with the right direction. So it leads to unsustainable mode of living. The disconnection from traditions, the erosion of family values is depriving the youth of the indigenous wisdom and collective practice that would have been part of our tradition for centuries. So with all these gaps, we find the youth to be misled and lost. With correct grounding through UHV, we are able to help everyone to resolve things at one's own capacity and level. Moving forward with some of the opportunities. So the opportunities that we see is value-driven education, where through curriculum, through planning, we integrate UHV into learning, enabling youth to become ready for life, where they can balance prosperity with sustainability. Youth becomes the agent for cultural renewal, In fact, I just heard few days back that nowadays, especially in the metros, there are this specific gatherings where people are focusing on the traditional wisdom. So now the youth in their night parties are engaging in discussions on traditional wisdoms. So there's a whole lot of opportunity that we can talk about where the youth can revive traditions within the community, within the ecological system, they can ensure harmony. Innovation is something which is deeply integrated with the youth. So, this innovation with purpose in the guidelines of holistic wisdom, where technology is not focused for profit maximization, but for human, people, ecological well being. So, utilizing this AI for sustainability, for ensuring a circular economy where reuse, recycle, all that becomes an integral part.
Youth panel.
Local to global connect
Okay, shall I
and
join
policy
attending panel
influence.
by leaving this? Okay. Okay. Okay.
So, moving ahead with some of the threats that we see around, the biggest threats are our own trapping in this growth paradigm. With this extreme consumerism and lack of clarity about prosperity, the youth may continue replicating unsustainable systems without realizing the fault in the current unsustainable modes. One may continue using them. The brain drain is one of the major threats, where the educated youth tends to migrate in the name of accumulating more and more of physical facility, leaving the local committees deprived and weaker. Another big threat is this over dependence on technology. Less of human interaction, loss of traditional knowledge, social disconnect, reduced resilience. So, in fact, in our own families, when we look around, we see that there is very less tolerance in the current generation. This less tolerance is more due to our own interaction with machines in comparison to the interaction with human beings. This feeling of relationship can only be thrived when we interact with the other human beings. Our own children now spending hours and hours in loneliness, just with their own tech gadgets. So, this over dependence on technology, where we want our children to become more and more technocrats. Even a 4-year child can write apps, programs, develop so many things. But then there is a huge disconnect. This cultural homogenization, where we are taking everything to the global platform without even connecting whether that is really leading to any kind of local issues being resolved or not. So the local values and the ecological practices are completely eroded. If we take one basic example like agriculture, we want to grow anything anywhere in every part of the world without realizing whether that part of world really requires that particular vegetation or not. So this cultural homogenization is another big threat, which is creating lots and lots of unsustainable practices here and there. This disillusionment, where when we are able to see that none of these SDGs can somehow appear to be achieved, the youth tends to lose trust in institutions, in organizations, in global cooperation, and they treat it as something which can be said but never done. So the biggest threat is that the youth energy is not channelized the right way. It is not helping them to realize their potential to the fullest without a clear guide map in front of them. And it is causing big threats. So I have tried to open up the discussion with lots and lots of vision related to how the youth can be directed in the right way and their kind of impact can be in the right direction with a grounded base through UHV. So, in fact, these youths are not the beneficiaries of the SDG. They are the torch bearers who need the right direction. So, with all this clarity now, I put forth the session to the moderator to take up the discussion further. So over to you, Amresh ji, and thank you very much for letting me express the UHV point of view and share it with this August gathering over here. I really feel privileged to do so. Thank you very much. Amresh ji, you are muted.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much for the sharing the insightful UHV point of view for our discussion today. Your reflections have set a meaningful context for our further discussions. I see Dr. Rupali is raising her hand. You have a question, Rupali?
No, sir. I just had to add. I would go with the flow.
Uh-huh.
If there's some question that needs to be, if it is going through questions, or if I can just add to what ma'am said already. So whatever
If you
you
want to
suggest.
quickly add something, you are welcome. But anyway, we will have the questions also coming on your way.
Sure, sir.
You
So
wanna
we
add
can
now?
wait. No, sir. We can wait for the questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I want to do two things now before we get on to the question session. So we missed to introduce Sir who has joined us. We have a privilege to have him here. Sir, we still have you here? Sir is around? He's left the panel, is it? Satyanarayan sir is still there? I don't see him.
Sir, let's see.
Probably he joined 5A session.
Okay, so then we can skip that. So it's important for us to now spend our next segment, question answer. One of the important thing we want to keep it in mind is the time. Okay, I'll help you with certain things which we thought about, which will help us with aligning on thoughtful and insightful discussion. First thing, let's keep our response concise. Let's around 3 minutes, what we thought about. There will be an alarm to balance the time amongst the panelists. All can share your perspective on strengths, challenges, and opportunities. Let's keep our reflections focused on youth. That's the panel today. This session is all about, and their role in realizing the SDGs at the root level. Okay. And another thing we want to keep it in mind is let's keep this space open, reflective, and collaborative, more like a dialogue of insights. That's what we want to do. And kindly try to keep your video on, which is very, very important throughout the duration of the panel discussion. That makes us more live and interactive for the session. Okay. So I hope this understanding is there with everyone. With this, now I would like to ask my very first question to Gautami Bor. What qualities in today's youth give you confidence that young people can build more peaceful and sustainable world?
Thank
Gautami,
you.
is question clear or you want me to
Yeah.
repeat?
No, I think I'm clear on the question. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Please go.
That's a really good question. And I think Vanchana ma'am, she already set the stage pretty well, describing the strengths of the youth of today. There's something that I also wanted to add to that list was the point that today's youth, especially if we consider, let's say, Gen Z and the younger generations coming in after that, they are very much in touch with their emotions and they are not afraid to be transparent and real. That is something I feel is a very big strength of theirs. I think up till the generation before, up till millennials, I think it has been a certain, let's say there has been a standout or there's been a perception that speaking out your mind constantly is going to get you in trouble. So there people often, tend to be a little bit hesitant if they want to put forth their opinions strongly. They will think twice or thrice before saying, oh, what if the other person will react this way or that way? I think the youth of today isn't really afraid of that. And I think that is a very big strength of theirs. I think transparency and honesty is very important if we want to bring about a change. And with that strength in mind, I think they have the ability to actually ask the bold questions, make people uncomfortable, bring up topics that normally won't be spoken about. And I think that's very important if we want to have conversations around sustainability, particularly. Even today, I think when it comes to policy making or having these discussions on a larger forum or panel, people still feel a bit of discomfort if things tend to go a little bit out of their comfort zone. But I think the youth today is not afraid of asking those questions, which I think they should keep up and is a great strength.
Thank you so much for your views and insights. That's very, very helpful. I see there are two people raising hands. One is Ajinkya Srirangholkar, and another one is Satish. Vanchana, we want to just check with them, or how do we go about?
Ji.
Are they
Maybe.
having the rights to speak?
um,
Satish, can you hear us? And you would like to? Or
Maybe.
Ajinkya, can you hear us? I don't know whether it's by mistake they have raised hand or they really want to kind of like seek some. We can't hear you, Satish. Can you just check your mic, please? How about Ajinkya now? Can you try to unmute and speak? Okay, we'll come back to them when they're ready with their mic and resolve the problem. So thank you, Gautami. I think it's a great start and ask this question. I think you try to put it across. Yeah, youth's empathy, openness, digital connectedness, and commitment, all that what you mentioned can probably help in building the peaceful and sustainable world. Okay, now let me ask a question to Srinivas Prasad. Can you share examples where youth creativity, enthusiasm, or the kindness has made a real difference in society or on campus while you've been working on these? Srinivas, is question clear or you want me to repeat?
Yes, I think the question is very clear. It's about the examples where youth creativity and kind of enthusiasm, kindness is making a real difference in the society and things like that. It's a great question, and also it's one of the areas where we can really bring out the youth, great transition that is happening right now. So there's many powerful examples where youth creativity, enthusiasm, the kindness are really making a real difference. If you look at in the campuses, for example, there are some of the students making the peer-led kind of mental health circles. There's also peer-to-peer mentoring juniors, building the kind of safe spaces for dialogue and also exchanging ideas and things like that. So these initiatives may not always be formal, but they restore really the kind of trust, care, and also the belonging that are really fundamental for the human values, but often missing in the competitive environments. So in terms of this society, youth-led movements around, like say, if you look at the climate action, the kind of sustainability, show the kind of creativity in action with the students designing like kind of low-cost solutions in terms of waste segregation systems, water conservation projects, and also community cleanups and things like that. So what is important is not just the innovation, but the intention to live in the harmony with the kind of nature that we are all part of it. And another example is about like young people are using extensive technology too deeply connected into the social media for the social good, for creating digital learning platforms, For kind of underdeserved communities as well, they're all part of it right now to using social media to mobilize the kind of relief during the crisis, for example, and things like that. So the enthusiasm is enabling rapid collective action, while the kind of kindness is actually ensuring no one is left behind and everyone is like connected. And the most inspiring examples can be like everyday acts of everyday comparison, where students are helping their classmates from different backgrounds, volunteering the time without recognition, and also choosing the kind of cooperation over the competition. So this may seem small, but they quite transform the kind of campus culture and the society as well. So along with that, there's a lot of entrepreneurial, startup culture as well. We're giving a lot of importance for ideation, innovation, maybe in a small way at the university level, but they are getting into that particular track of enabling their minds, and everyone's small ideas are getting valued. And this is somewhere, these examples show that when youth creativity is guided by right understanding and values, it actually naturally leads to the positive, sustainable change within individuals, institutions, and the larger society. That's my point or point of view. Thank you.
Absolutely, very well articulated, Srinivas. Thank you for your insights. Maybe I would like to ask the same question to Dr. Rupali as well to seek her views on this. Maybe I will repeat the question again. Can you share examples where youth creativity, enthusiasm, or kindness has made a real difference in society or on campus?
Sir, I can thank you, sir, for the question. I can talk about the campus wherein students from law, they are very actively engaged in legal aid activities, wherein they are going out onto the streets. They are performing Nukkad Natak, street plays, and then they are visiting old age homes. I personally have this experience with them, wherein it was all student led, and they, on the occasion of Deepavali, they visited an old age home and they invited several elderlies to the campus. They prepared performances, they entertained them, they made them happy. There was food, there were gifts, and just people from the old age home, and they often say that nobody visits us, and then they felt happy and they were looking forward to that event. So it was a very, very it was a very moving point of view when we were just looking at the students so excited about making a difference and making the elderly feel important for one day. And then it was a regular practice and and then awareness camps and everything else that they are so actively a part of. Earlier in our times, and faculties, teachers used to nudge us, okay, there's this activity, you have to participate. Now students themselves are coming up with ideas that we want to do this, let us try this, ma'am, this, that. So this is a very welcome change that I see.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You gave a wonderful examples and real-time examples. I think even I've heard about the social innovation clubs and all that. So they're really coming up with a small initiatives and maybe probably help in the transformation what we are looking at. Thank you so much for that insights. Okay, great. So I think Satish is raising again hand. Satish, can you speak now? Okay, let's come back later part of it. Thank you, Rupali, and thank you, Srinivas, for your insights on the question. Moving on with the next question, I would like to request now Mridula Singh to help with her insights and views on this question. In what ways do we see young people already caring for nature, fairness, or social well-being in their daily lives? Mridula, is it clear? You are on mute. You have to unmute, please. Is question clear or you want me to repeat again?
Yes, please repeat once again.
Okay. In what ways do you see young people already caring for nature, fairness, or social well-being in their daily lives?
Thank you for giving me this question. This is a brilliant question, and I think amongst all the panelists who have shared so much insights about youth in creative field, the youth themselves talking about the strong path And Dr. Vanchana has opened up this discussion forum to a lot of different things. Yes, well-being is something, the youth should be working towards. And as we are seeing that, I would like to put two perspectives to this. Number one is, in today's world, if you see that there is challenges related to the technology. The technology cannot be segregated from the real world, from the everyday lives of the youth or anyone in the community. Because if you will see the latest report from the YouTube, which happens to be, India being number one on that platform, and most of the other social media platform, you will see the 4 billion views come only from the makeup. That is the segment. This is the report from 2024 that I am citing. Again, in terms of culture, they talk about makeup, the serum. This is how our entire youth is shaping up on the social media. So one is the tech challenges that we are facing. Along with the tech challenges, you will understand the roots, the indigenous roots, which Vanchana ma'am had talked about, that going back to the ancient roots is something very important. I am associated with Hindu Dharma Shodh Sansthan also, which is working on the research part of and preserving the manuscript, the way they were, not, the way it is being showcased today in the social media's reel, which is a very small part. Without understanding the context, the history, we just, try and understand everything from that 1 minute video. And that is something erasing and eroding the moral values that were there in our Vedic scriptures, in our Vedic education, the Gurukula system that we talk about. So this is one of the things. Along with that, another very important thing which I also see in the threads was the misinformation and fake news. So along with UNESCO is working on media and information literacy. How do we build that kind of skill set through the education? And education doesn't have to be, formal education in the classrooms, because we understand our system will not bring change urgently. Although these changes are required urgently, NAP 2020 talks about it, but our systems are not bringing it. So the second aspect that I would like to bring focus on is the misinformation and fake news. So media and information literacy wing of UNESCO is talking about all these things. How do we not fall for the fake? How do we not erode the cultural values which were there in the past and bring it to the future? And I would just take one or two sentences more of a time, if you allow me. So along with that, the second aspect is very important, is value rooted in our ancient values and education. How do we bring these children? They are already participating nowadays. They are curious. They are emotionally, working towards in this direction. But how do we bring them to the system where we give them insights from our Vedic education? Go back to the roots, go back to the history. Study the history in an informal way if it is not taught in the classrooms. Read the book. The book will give you more insights than what is available on the social media. Because on the social media, on the digital media, in this information age, propaganda works, the algorithm works. So look beyond the screens, and your social emotional learning will be very well through that. So with this, I would like to hand over the floor to you again.
Thank you so much for the wonderful insights. I think the depth of research and knowledge what you carry, I think you try to bring that up, and thank you so much. With this, we would like to move on with the next question. May I invite now Rachna Sinde on question I would like to ask is, if youth care about sustainability, what usually stops them from taking consistent action?
Thank you so much, sir. So, may I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. If the question is clear to you, or you want me to repeat?
No, sir, question is clear to me. And first of all, I would like to thank Vanchana ma'am for providing me this opportunity to be here. And I feel so privileged to be a part of this discussion among all the esteemed panelists. And as your question is that today's youngsters are passionate about sustainability, but there is something that stops them from taking actions for that. So my views on the point is that those things are taught us in the college. Now, I am a second year college student myself, so I have experienced the things that those things are taught us in the college, and but we are not able to take proper steps about it because the practical knowledge is not given to us in the college. The curriculum and everything for every field is related to the core fields, so we are not given enough opportunities to take some steps about sustainability and explore anything about that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you so much, Rachana, for your insights. Maybe I would like to ask the same question same question to Dr. Vanchana to throw more insights and share our experience and views on this question.
Ji. So thank you. In fact, Rachna pointed out very rightly, and I'm happy that a student can acknowledge it. So youth do care about sustainability, but what usually stops them from consistent action is this lack of clarity. So at times they feel overwhelmed that, look, there are lots and lots of problems, and I have such a little time. Where would I focus? Shall I focus on my academics? Shall I focus on the issues? Will I be ever able to do anything? I'm such a tiny thing in comparison to the whole world. So, this feeling of being overwhelmed is something which is stopping them. They don't know where to start from or how their efforts should be integrated. This academic pressure which they carry is a huge baggage on top of them, which is leading to them taking steps back. Okay, this is not my cup of tea. When I will grow up, I will become something. That point of time, I'll take some decisions. But what we see is that these steps are something which has to be initiated from the very beginning. So the actual cause will lie at lack of guidance and right direction. That is the mentoring part. So it is not basically the laziness amongst our youth. We can't say that they are lazy. Just like she has just shared that she wants to do a lot, but then there is a lot of lack of clarity. So it's the lack of clarity and direction which is missing. And therefore, the youth needs pathways, not slogans. Giving them slogans, raising slogans, shouting here and there, that will not give them the actual impact on ensuring sustainability. So, through a clear approach, one can gain clarity and confidence, and one can resolve one's own confusions. So, I'm really happy to hear from Rachna that she could clearly point out that these are the points where the youth today is lagging. Really nice. Ji. Thank you, Amresh ji.
Very good. Thank you so much. I think I see Gautami ji raising hand. So you want to add something on to this question, Gautami?
Yes, please. I mean, if that's okay, I won't take more than a minute. But I
Yeah,
just
please
thought
go
I'd
ahead.
take- as this was coming up, I mean, yeah, I mean, I really agree with what Rachana said. There is often, an issue with clarity or, not understanding where to start. I think at the same time, there are a lot of external factors that also contribute to inaction amongst youth. Primarily, one thing that came up during the research that I have done is that um, your living situation or your peers or your family or whoever you spend a lot of time with really influences all the decisions that you make in your life or if the decisions that you're in a position to take in your life. Let's say, for example, I mean, if you're living with your family, most of the, let's say, financial decisions are being taken by the head of the family. So they are being decided by your parents. If you are, let's say, living in a flatting situation with a few other people, there are certain boundaries and certain things that you need to maintain as a part of living within a group of people. So there are oftentimes these sort of like external barriers that youth especially have to face because they don't have enough control over how they can lead their life, be it through their finances or be it through decision making for their own selves, which is something that also overwhelms them a lot. And I think I've seen that primarily in, let's say younger generation, somewhere between about 18 to 21, who are just stepping up to become independent, but yet still trying to navigate their way through actually getting into adulthood. So yeah, I just wanted to share that one point as well. And yeah. bring that to light.
Excellent. Thank you for voluntarily pitching in. I think that's more insights which we gathered for this. I think I absolutely agree with you that sometimes the lack of guidance and short-term pressures also sometimes young people live. So I think those are the something which need to be looked at. Thank you so much for the insights. Let's move on. Now I'd like to invite Madhura, if she's around for a question. How do distractions like social media, competition, or pressure to perform affect ability to live sustainably? Madhura, hope you are there. I saw you there.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Madhura Kulkarni. Yeah. You want me to repeat the question, Madhura? Rupali, you raised your hand. You want to share your experience on this
Yes,
before
sir.
Madhura comes in?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Sir, I would like to talk about the social media. I would like to relate it with what Vanchana ma'am said in the beginning about happiness. So I've talked about happiness to a number of people, about what makes them happy. And sometimes it's money, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's traveling alone. So I've come to a point where I don't judge what makes anyone happy. That's all right, even if it's money. But then if I go deeper into the concept of why money, it many times comes on to the perception people have about me when I have money, when I'm posting something on the social media, or the kind of reception I get because I show money. So it's okay if money makes you happy. If at the end of the day, if at the end of your life, you're happy with the bank balance that you have, it's all right. But why is money making you happy? Why is whatever is making you happy is also important. The why of it. So this is where I think social media also makes a difference because people are comparing. So it's like there's a lot of comparison happening and you may be unhappy, but you are trying to show yourself to be happy to someone else, to someone who doesn't really matter to you that much. You may not be showing your true emotions to your family or anyone, but you're trying to show something to the other world, to the outside world, to the ex. So there are a lot of external factors here that I think are really making a lot of difference. So this, everything is okay. Reels, OTT, everything is all right, social media. But as long as you can tell yourself that it is just comparison mode that I'm getting into now, and I know where to draw the line, I can do my scrolling, I can do my reeling and everything, but I know when to stop and I know when to not let it affect my own mind. So this is something that is very important in this aspect of social media. And apart from that, if I can just add a little more things about the brain drain thing that ma'am said, I think the support that the society and the government gives the youth is also important because I know people who have moved abroad only because of AQI. They cite AQI reasons. So it's not that there is something that, is only driving them abroad or something. So if there's a little bit of support, and if you give them what they are looking for, if the government tries to understand what the youth truly wants, and then try to give it, because they are patriotic, they want to be in the country, they want to be with the family, but there are reasons driving them abroad. So that is something which is very important. So these are the two things that I just wanted to quickly add. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And a very interesting topic and can go on this. It's like youth with this particular thing is very confused and the clarity is missing. That's where I think it plays very, very important role. If Madhura, you are back, so I would like to seek your insights as well on this. Please unmute and speak.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Basically, as Rupali ma'am said, where to stop? Youth have to know where to stop. Means they have to know limits of their own. Means we can teach skills and knowledge very well, but we rarely help students to understand themselves, right? Means truly bringing happiness when it enough means they have to know what is the meaning of enough, how we can line the limits with us. Okay, they can know the meaning of the limit. Am I
Yeah, you're getting muted for some reason. I don't know. Is it happening? You are on mute at the moment.
Now, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible now.
Hello?
Please go
Yes,
ahead.
yes, yes. Okay, yes. Means what? The youth means, first of all, we all know youth means what? The energy, unending energy, right? Adaptable, they can adaptable to change and highly digital literacy in the youth. As we know, basically, they understand the harmony between human to human, harmony between human to society, and harmony between human to nature. Okay, nowadays I think youth were something is lacking in the communication is there because everyone is with their gadgets, everyone with their own shell. So we have to move around there and uh, actually we have to uh, I know. Actually, we have to
You are
put.
audible. Please go ahead.
Yes, yes, yes. We have to come from that share. We have to force them that talk with your family, talk with your friends, like that. That's why two points are there. First is anxiety, less anxiety is there. Then second one is brain drain is there. So I think the techno savvy is two ways are there for that techno savvy youth. First is advantage and second one is disadvantage. Advantage is digital literacy is okay, but from that digital literacy, uh, some disadvantage will happen on the youth mind. Youth sanskar, we can say UHV sanskar is there. Okay, so I think is youth need, they don't want a lecture to know how to swim. Okay, they just want from us that you can swim. We are here for you. Or tell me your problems. They don't want any lecture from us.
Please close your comment. No problem. We can't hear you now. You are on.
Okay, sir, done.
Oh, thank you so much for your insights. So let's move on with our next question. A very interesting question. I would like to invite Srinivas because he has worked extensively on this. This question, I think he will have a lot better information about and views about this. Do you feel SDG activities sometimes become certificate driven rather than purpose driven? What changes this mindset?
Yes, thank you for this wonderful question. Yes, quite often I think SDG activities do like risk becoming certificate driven rather than purpose driven. So when participation is kind of motivated mainly by like credits, resumes, or visibility, the deeper intent of the SDGs, human well-being, justice, harmony with nature, all these things are getting diluted. So because SDGs are sometimes treated as external goals to achieve rather than the expression of like kind of values to live by. So when the young people are asked what they did instead of what they understand or transform, so this kind of focus naturally is going to shift to outcomes and recognition. So what can change this mindset is a shift from the activity-based engagement and to understanding-based kind of engagement. So when the youth actually understand why sustainability matters to their own happiness, the kind of relationships and the kind of future they can build, not just to global targets, action then becomes self-motivated and becomes consistent. So education here plays a very crucial role, and integrating the universal human values into the learning helps students to connect to the specific SDGs with everyday choices. How to consume, how to compete, how to collaborate, how to care for each other. So the reflection and the kind of dialogue and lived practice are far more powerful than just one-time kind of events that they just come across sometimes. So finally, the kind of institutions, if they're able to reward depth over the display, long-term commitment, ethical choices, and also kind of community impact rather than just participation for the certificates. When purpose leads, the recognition follows, not the other way around. So SDG engagement becomes more meaningful, more sustainable, and more transformative in this particular fashion. This is how I feel that SDGs activities become certificate driven rather than the purposeful driven aspects of it.
Thank you so much, Srinivas. I think they're wonderful insights to learn. I'm sure the participants and the panelists are taking away the key points there. Now, moving on with another interesting question, I would like to now request, because she's doing a lot of work on this, on the social change. Mridula, I would like to invite you to help us with your insights on what new opportunities do you see today for youth to lead a positive change in society or their communities.
Thank you for inviting me again. And there have been wonderful insights coming from all the panelists, including our young people who have joined, like Gautami. And there was one more beautiful insight from the girl who was saying that the university wants to do something in the sustainability. So I'll take two things from the reverse, and then I'll come back to the opportunity. Number one is that why the students or the youth or universities or the schools are not able to sustain the efforts they have started. So there are many institutions, organization, educational, non-educational NGOs, they start the thing with a campaign and it ends there. There is some credit-based courses which the universities provide to the youth, and they tell them to complete the coursework. Maybe it is related to adult care, related to our young people who go and talk about various environmental related issues, etc., etc. Whereas I would like to quote from NEP, there is a very beautiful thing that nobody follows, is the cluster-based approach, where one university can become a community or hub for change. One school can become a community and hub for change for everyone, not just the youth. And youth can bring that change because their voices are heard amongst their peers. They will be leading the future. So this is one of the things. And another thing that I see is that lack of trust amongst the youth, lack of opportunities given by these organizations to the youth. Why not give them opportunities to, budget it, take the onus, do the campaign, build your own campaign, bring the community together the way you want to do it, so that they feel the sense of belonging. And that belonging can lead it to build the sustainable organization on the non-profit motive. We are just pushing them towards the commercial things, start up one after the another, and there is a race. Another thing is that the universities, the colleges, the higher education institutions are running behind the ranking system as well. So we have to look all the things very holistically. There are great many opportunities out there. Another thing that from the social media angle, we are not educating the children, the youth, the community for the future ahead with the ethical, digital, moral values. These are completely, missing. For example, in our own system, value system, in the ancient system, you see about Diksha, which is Diksha itself says that it has to be affordable. Are we giving the affordable education? We are building the divide between the private institution and the government institutions are deteriorating day by day. We will have to look into that system as well. We need to change that. Another thing is that one more second, I will take 2-3 lines and then I will conclude, is that about the opportunities. Lot of opportunities are there. The children are ready to take those opportunities. The youth is all out there, but we have to trust them, to give them, hands-on experience, And another thing is that disconnect between the social media or the digital media is creating is they know the global issues, they don't know the local issues. That one university or the school can bring around change in the neighborhood, planting trees in the neighborhood. The street lights are not working. How to communicate this through the digital media to the local authorities? The roads have potholes. There are systems in place by the government also. We are not using it. These are the simple changes that the SDGs can bring. Clean environment, gender equality, number 5, if you talk about the gender inequality, this is increasing in our country. But are we talking about it in a sustainable way? Rather than just having a commentary or a campaign or just a certificate course I am doing for this, let them come and volunteer. Why do we see so many youths coming to the cold play? Lakhs and lakhs of youth come, they spend money, the time, effort, everything, but they are not coming for the climate action. Even if it is virtual, it is free of cost. So we will have to look into all these scenarios and come up with a solution holistically. And that would be the holistic education is will be all about. I'm thankful to UHV for bringing in such a relevant topic to the discussion amongst this forum. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of takeaways for all of us from what other panelists have also shared and what Vanchana ma'am has just shared about the view of the UHV as well. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Mridula, once again, for your insightful, thoughtful communication and messages to participants and the panelists. Thank you so much. Let me ask the next question to Dr. Geeta Potharaju. How can technology, when used with awareness, help youth contribute to sustainability rather than harm it? Geeta Potharaju, if you are around. So he's not in the session, is it? Okay, may I request Jasmeer ji to help answer this question.
Namaste, everyone. Thanks for having me on this panel. Technology, all of the youth are nowadays only think of technological solutions when some problem is posed to them. But the limitation today is that they think of using the technology the way globally some solution they want to give. They do not think of the local problems and local difficulties that are faced by the communities around. So Mridula ma'am has really pointed out nicely that we need to give opportunities on the local level, local platforms, and then whatever local solutions being generated, there also we need to acknowledge those solutions. We need to give appreciation to those solutions, so that will really build a very good rather we only need few role models, few examples only to begin with. Once those are really set up, they will be they'll be really working as a role models for the other to take up. In my organization itself, when I teach UHV course, or when I take this kind of initiative, I find that there are certain number of students out of a class of 80 students, about 30-40 students really take interest in all the UHV proposals and go through the course with a lot of interest. There are about 7-8 students in every class who are really concerned about the social issues and they want to take up. But the only limitation is that we are not providing nowadays them the local platforms. Even when it comes to innovation and entrepreneurship, we want them to participate in a challenge which is happening at the national level, take up the problems which are there on the website of the ministries. We are not making them to see the local problems. Otherwise, technologically, they are very much competent to solve all the local issues. So that's my opinion about this particular question. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you, Jasmeer. I think those are the wonderful insights for the question asked. Well, let me move on to the next question to Dr. Yashwant Patil. What kind of support from colleges or universities would help youth take a real ownership of SDG related initiatives?
Yes, a very nice question. I think at the institute level, apart from having these courses, what we can share with the students is how they can try to do this one practically. There are many projects. Generally, what happens, they start with many projects, but either they are done half-heartedly or somewhere you can say the final stage is not reached. It is very much important that we can say take to the students that it is important not only for the students, but this is for the welfare of all the human beings and every unit in the nature. So with this clarity, only the child will be able to participate wholeheartedly. Similarly, we should have the courses through which we try to help the students with the clarity of the happiness, the clarity of the prosperity. Because without this, what we see is nowadays, we can say this exploitation of the resources is happening. I think it is possible that when we share this as a part of curriculum, if the students develop the right understanding, they will be meaningfully able to contribute to this. So definitely at institute level now we are doing some, for example, having such SDGs, having the courses. But I think something more will be proactively required from our side. Yes, this is what I wanted to say. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Yashwant, for your insights on the question. Let's move on with the next question, very interesting one. I would like to invite again Gautami to share because he's doing work related to this. How do global challenges like climate anxiety, conflicts, or economic stress affect youth motivation and mental balance?
That's a really wonderful question. I mean, obviously, like we've discussed already, youth is very highly exposed to social media. So seeing constant pressurized situations on platforms like social media, and obviously, given that climate change is an issue, is being discussed much more openly now than it was being discussed 20 years ago, I think is given everybody a chance to speak about what is happening, what does climate change mean. And I think the impacts are also now being experienced on a much larger scale than they were being experienced a few years ago. Which is why I think, obviously, youth in today's world is much more exposed to it. And I mean, I think the fact that everybody is constantly connected now also adds on to that pressure. So all these sorts of issues, like, constantly seeing that news on social media, constantly seeing that, let's say a friend of yours who's sitting in some other corner of the world is also going through, let's say, has experienced flooding in their nearby area. There are things like that that sort of add on to climate anxiety. And I think obviously now that we've learned already that youth is becoming much more aware, that I think they've gotten a lot smarter. I think they know exactly what they want. And then it's things like, looking at policies that sometimes don't make much sense. There are, requirements that they have from their governments. They have requirements that they need certain things from educational institutions. They want certain things to be done by corporates and companies. And when these sort of things don't really seem to come into place, I think that's when they start seeing that there's a bit of a disconnect. And one obviously important thing is that there is still a big gap in taking youth perceptions into important decision making, like policy making, or like making sure how strategies are built, and so on and so forth. I think youth voices need to be heard in places where it is important. And today's youth is observing that there isn't a lot of space for them. There aren't enough platforms for them to speak up in places where it matters the most, which is why then obviously activism is one of the ways that they tend to express themselves. Social media is one of the places where they tend to put up their voices. But I mean, if they are given more opportunities to speak their mind, if they are ensured that their voices also matter in places where decision making is being made and where it makes most sense, I think this will really help easing the climate anxiety, or the pressurous issues that that they face on a regular basis. So yeah, those are some of the things that I believe in. And I'm sure, I mean, I'm sure if somebody else will also have a few more things to add to that. But yeah, those were my main perspectives.
Thank you so much, Gautami. Rupali, I see your hand raised. So I'm mindful of time. We are left with another 4 minutes. I will ask last question to you, Rupali. So you have to be a little brief, maybe 2 minutes instead of 3 minutes.
Sure, sir.
The question going to be for you is what mindset shifts help youth avoid overconsumption and unhealthy competition while staying calm and compassionate? It's an interesting question. It can go on, but try to keep it for 2 minutes so that we have to finish it by 2:50. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, it is a very interesting question. Mindset changes. Instead of bringing a new perspective, I would like to connect it with what we have already been discussing about. So, as far as shifts in climate change, if we talk about, there have been studies which have highlighted that the problems like climate anxiety is affecting choices made by the younger generations. They are avoiding bearing children because they are questioning that why should we bring a child in a society or in an environment which is degrading the climate in this, how would they survive this bad environment and this climate change and everything. So these are the kind of things that are really bothering, and they can be disastrous, because I have been studying income security, social security. So I've studied population demography changes. So these are really making a lot of difference. So the biggest mindset shift required is positivity. And we need to instill this, and we need to bring this forth in front of the youth, that it is not as gloomy as it looks. And there is still a lot of thing that can still be done. I know the environment is not as good or as healthy as it used to be like 50 years ago, but it is not all lost. We can still pick it up. We can still see in the COVID times, the dolphins were sighted again. The glaciers were they were getting better again. So the environment heals itself. So everything is possible. It can still be healed. So we just need to give them platforms like one initiative like youth parliament in schools and colleges. It gives a platform to the students to come together and talk like the politicians, like the leaders. So, and they're going to be tomorrow's leaders anyway. So we need to give them more platform, and we need to bring more positivity in their mindset. And we need to tell them that all is still okay, and you can make it better, and I know you will make it better. These kind of things on a very lighter note. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I see that lot of insights, energy, so much to speak, but we are sitting on a time machine here and trying to be in that limit. So otherwise, I think so much of insight and knowledge coming from everyone. I've done so many moderations in my life. This is one of the best. I feel like that energy which you have shown each and every panelist. I think it's amazing. And I've been very happy, and so much of learning from each one of you. I did as a moderator. Let me try to kind of like complete with my comments here. Thank you again for the wonderful comments. Your honest reflections and inspiring insights, really a learning experience for all of us here, including the participants. Today's discussion clearly highlighted both the strengths and challenges of the youth, while also reminding us that right mindset, guidance, and opportunities, young people can truly become a change makers for sustainable development. We heard how awareness, compassion, collaboration, and conscious use of technology can help a youth move from intention to consistent action, and how shifting from competition to cooperation can make SDG efforts more meaningful and impactful. I sincerely thank each panelist for sharing your perspective and lived experiences. That's more important. And for reminding us that the journey towards sustainability begins with values, not just activities, right? With this, we conclude the student panel discussion. I now request our anchor to kindly take over and guide us through the next part of the conference. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Over to you,
Amresh
Radha.
Shotte. Thank you. Thank you, all the panel members, Dr. Vashna Singh, Dr. Yashwant Patel, Gautam Bore, Srinivas Prasad, Dr. Rupali, Mridula Singh, Tirumala Sai, Srishti, Madhura, Jasmeer, Dr. Jasmeer, Dr. Geeta for making today's session truly engaging and meaningful. Your insights and vision on empowering youth through value-driven higher education have deeply inspired us all. I also extend my sincere gratitude to moderator Dr. Hamrish Hotte, all the participants, the tech team, Ms. Banisha Prinja, Ajay Kumar Paul, production studio, timekeeper, Ms. Vinita Nair, scribe, Vinita Nair and Sita Pragna, and the entire organizing committee for their invaluable support and contribution as we conclude this session on the SWOT analysis in sustainable development goals. We are reaffirmed our shared commitment to translate dialogue into action. May the insights, collaborations, and collective resolve nurtured here inspire inclusive, ethical, and sustainable solutions for a resilient future. May we continue to inspire our youth to act with compassion, confidence, and commitment towards a sustainable and harmonious future. As we move forward, let us carry the spirit of today's discussions into tomorrow's theme, a vision for empowering youth to address SDGs at the root through a holistic, value-driven approach. Thank you once again to everyone who joined us and made this event a great success. Let us continue this shared journey of learning and transformation together. We look forward to reconnecting tomorrow with the next panel at the same time. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Just for the
Thank you.
information of all,
Thank you.
an upcoming session will start after another 15 minutes, where we'll hear sharing from those who have been practicing UHV. So all our esteemed panel members who are participating over here, they can also be part of that discussion as attendees so that they can have a real-time experience of their sharings, institutional and personal sharings. Very nice. Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you later.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.